Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
ManEatingWreath.
And welcome to the great So You Want to Be an Imagineer, Season 14, Fantasy Draft. Oh my god, it is so exciting, folks. We have 21 people for you. ManEatingWreath, I actually should have brought this up with you before we went on air, but we have 21 people, and we want to do 2 teams of 10, right? So
Wait, we are doing 2 teams of 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're doing 2 teams of 10.
2 teams of 10. 2 teams of 10.
That's, that's fine by me. Fun fact, Season 8, we had a cast about this size, maybe 18? I don't remember. It's 18 or 20.
I think it was 20. Like, before the dropouts happened, it was 20.
And, good old ManEatingWreath goes, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a team with everyone on it. What ensued next was the worst.
That won't happen again this time, folks.
No, never again. Ironically, the first project of this season was the first project of Season 8 with that giant team.
But speaking of teams, ManEatingWreath, I think it's appropriate before we get into the fantasy draft to announce that we have a little bit of a twist when it comes to one of the teams this season and how we're going to be dividing the teams.
Yes, sir.
So we figured it'd be interesting to kind of make this a 1/3 fans versus favorites, essentially.
Yes.
Because there's going to be 3 teams of 7. Wait.
You just said 2 teams of 10.
No, I'm saying 2 teams of 10 for the fantasy draft between the 2 of us.
Oh, see, I'm confused. Sorry.
Okay, there's going to be 3 teams of 7, and ManEatingWreath, actually, I think we have a problem now because we have like 6 returning players, and now there's teams of 7.
I apologize. We're figuring this out. We're figuring this out on the air. We probably should have talked a little more about this before.
Probably should have, instead of talking endlessly about the Mandela effect before going on air, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, let's just put it this way. There's going to be 3 teams of 7. 21 contestants. Each team's going to have a project leader. This video is a cast assessment and a fantasy draft.
And I can also say that one of the teams will be comprised mostly of the people that have played in Vision's Fantastic proper, So You Want to Be an Imagineer. So that means people like Disneyland 1, Mickey Fan 5534, Joker's Wild, Snoopy, Trevor, and then our Michael is also going to be on that team as the winner of Season 13. And then we have to figure out one other person to round that team out.
You know what? We will figure it out.
We will figure it out, indeed.
By George, we'll figure it out.
But that is 6 of the 7 people that are going to be on. I think it's appropriate that the returning player team is named after Monkey.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Those will be the 6 people on Team Mist plus someone else that we'll figure out in due time. Mickey Fan 5534, Joker's Wild, Disney Man 1, Snoopy, Trevor A, and our Michael as the returning players, the returning like VF players, plus our Michael is the winner of Season 13. He's an honorary VF player.
Honorary.
Anyways.
Anyhow.
All right. So, Mew, we're just going to dive right into this. My friend.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. You know what? I'm probably going to regret this because I usually end up losing these things, but I'm going to let you have the first pick.
Oh, man, the pressure. All right, well, my first pick may surprise you.
Okay.
I pick Disney Man 1.
Oh, that does surprise me. Okay.
Disney Man and I, we've actually gotten to be pretty close with each other for the past year or so, I should say. We talk about our dream resorts in private and everything, and I think based off of his Festival of Imagination project, he's going to be a really good contestant this season, I believe. So for the fantasy draft, my first pick is Disney Man 1.
Also, we're kind of deliberating.
Are you getting Evan's messages too?
Yes, I'm getting Evan's messages as we speak. Yeah, great timing, Evan. We're on air.
Anywho,
we're deliberating on, okay, so my team name is Team Schultz with a T, because Charles M. Schultz was spelled with a T when I was growing up, and now suddenly the T is missing. Mandela effect and whatnot. If you want to hear more about the Mandela effect, folks, it's been rocking my world for over a month now, and me and Sandy Claus are going to do a podcast about that at about 8 o'clock tonight Eastern time. So stay tuned for that on the channel if you're interested in an entirely different subject. That's endlessly fascinating to me. Anyways, so yeah, my team is named after Snoopy, named after the player Snoopy, not the character Snoopy. And it is named Team Schultz, the pre-Mandela effect Schultz.
Amen to that.
Schultz.
That bugs the hell out of me.
Okay. So, Garrett, I think we're going to go with Team Blue for the team that's named after Adventure Blue Dude.
I wholeheartedly agree.
We'll see if he has anything to say. We'll see if
for sure.
Yeah. And also, he says he's terribly flattered that we're naming a team after him.
Yeah, amen. I burped in approval.
Okay, so yeah, Disney Man 1, I don't have a ton to say about him. He's definitely a solid returning player. He's one of those people that kind of started out as a big underdog in the VF era of the game. I believe like the first couple times he played, he didn't even really get very far. And then I think it was season 12 that he was one of the people that made the merge, and he kind of made a good run at it. So and then I honestly don't even remember if he played in season 13. I need to do more.
He didn't play in season 13.
He didn't? Okay. No. Good. Thank you. So yeah, that's a solid pick. Although, Garrett, I must say, if you're going for the money, we'll see. So
we'll see. I have faith.
There's one guy on here that's pretty obvious that I want as my number one pick, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because it's too obvious. So
I know who you're going to. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Instead, I'm going to go with MC Paradox.
Excuse me.
Oh, Jesus.
I was going to sing a song from Pirates of Penzance. A paradox, a most ingenious paradox. Okay. I actually know nothing about this guy.
Well, he's actually been on the boards for quite a while. He's been in a few competitions, kind of came in and out. I remember he was in, I want to say the Soul Imagineer season 2. I'm sure people are like yelling at me, and because I have a bad memory, folks. I'm sorry.
With MC?
Yeah. One of the things that Paradox stands out for is he's one of our great international contestants. He's from Liverpool, actually. So
okay,
so that's cool to have we actually have someone else in the cast who's from South America. So,
really?
Or not South America, South Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I actually had a friend who lived in South Africa, but that's off topic.
Yeah, ever since Disney Lover Forever in season 2, who was from Brazil, we've always kind of had a good international representation. Cole actually was from the United Kingdom, Musketeer Cole.
Are you kidding me?
No, yeah, he was from
the
UK. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I'm finding out so much today. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay, so I look forward to seeing what Paradox has to give.
Yeah, also, he's crazy good at concept art. He did some of the best concept art that we saw in the Creator Games Project Infinity. I really think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this game. I really think he's a complete package. He's a good people person.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just a genuinely nice guy. He gets along with people, which goes a long way in this game with the teamwork element of it. And he's a strong worker, and he's got the concept art. So really, I think he's definitely gonna, at the very least, like make the merge for sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm glad we have. I think in general we have a strong cast this season.
Oh, I think so too.
Like this is easily going to be one of the best seasons.
Also, folks, I want to lay out if you're picked, if we're not picking you, don't feel bad. The reason why we're probably not going to pick some of these people until towards the end of this podcast is honestly mostly due to the fact that their applications were kind of short and they're new people and we don't really know anything about them either way. So it's kind of hard to get a grasp on how good they'll do. So people at Cranium Command, that guy from Florida, Stephen Yu, people like that will probably be getting to more towards the end of this. But like I said, don't take it personally. It's only because like we really don't know a lot about you. You're new to the community, so there's not a lot to go on. Mm-hmm. So I just want to bring that up because since we're framing this as a fantasy draft, I don't want people to like feel left out. Like, when's my name going to get called? No, trust me, folks, we're going to get to everyone. So
we will.
Okay, what's your next pick?
My next pick. See, I'm debating between two people at the moment. Is one of them I'm very close to. The other I'm getting close to. Because you might steal this person if I don't say the name.
Right.
Space Mountain.
All right.
I don't think I need to say anymore. He's probably the biggest presence on WDW Magic's Imagineering Forum at the moment.
I would say so. I would say he's absolutely a touchstone of the community for sure.
Exactly. Touchstone of the community. Great guy. I don't really need to explain anymore. He had a hysterical Festival of Imagination.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God.
I was dying the whole time. But, all right. Yeah, I'd say Space Mountain's my second pick.
Yeah, and I don't really think we need to assess Space. Everyone who's watching this probably knows who he is. So,
well, excuse me, I don't know who this Space Mountain is. My name is Disney Rules 2.0.
Oh God! Oh no!
Only season 8 people would understand that. Anyways, carrying on.
Oh, I'm Disney World.
Oh God! Oh God! Here we go.
Okay.
What have I done?
I am going to go ahead and pick Pie on My Cake.
Oh, okay.
Pie on My Cake is one of the newer members here, but I just see it, man. I see his dedication. I see his enthusiasm. He's one of the people that's most excited about the game. And I also worked with him directly in the creator games. The one round I actually got to coach the creator games. And yeah, I think he's a really talented up-and-comer. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Also, Pi, Paradox, I'm kind of like going for the scientific names. I don't know.
I mean, see, when he said Pie on My Cake, before I read his application, I was like, oh, he spelled pie wrong.
I always got the pun.
And then now I realize, I was like, oh.
As soon as I saw it, I got the pun.
Okay. All right. My third choice?
Yes.
You didn't steal this person, so I'm going to take them Jokers.
That's fine, because the same thing, I mean, no offense to Jokers, because we love him, we named a team after him and everything, but the same thing's going to happen to Jokers that happens every season Joker plays anything. He's going to be really involved at first, but then his college life is going to take over, and he's going to just fizzle out. I'm sorry, Evan, I love you to death. It's just when we do these fantasy drafts, that's more or less... like he's kind of like the median person. So go ahead and take Jokers. Obviously Jokers, aka Adventure Blue Dude, huge person in the game, one of the biggest iconic players. Like I would say at this point he's just as famous as someone like Basket Buddy or King Mickey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm holding out faith because I was actually I wasn't in school last season. I've done college and so you want to be an Imagineer before. It's hard, but you know what? I have faith in Evan.
Okay.
I always love when he does something with Jules Verne.
I mean, when he's on his A game, he's on his A game.
When he's on his A game, he is a real Adventure Blue Dude.
Okay, so let's see. Now we're getting to my third choice. Oh. Okay, I'm going to go with the season 13 winner. I'm going to go with the reigning champion, R. Michael.
Boom, 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 boom. That was because that was going to be one of my picks.
Sorry.
That's fine. It's a fantasy draft. It means nothing.
Of course, R. Michael, he's another one of the pillars of the community. He's been around for a while. He's actually been around longer than Space Mountain. he's known for the Soul Imagineer, which in my opinion is probably it's still probably the most fun I've ever had playing an Imagineering game, including So You Want to Be an Imagineer. The Soul Imagineer is just a really, really well-run game. In spite of some of the controversy it might bring with the strategy elements. But yeah, Armichael, he's definitely really dedicated, and the reason he won last year was definitely a mix of good projects and good strategy. He's not going to get the chance to do the strategy this season. I can reiterate, Armichael is not going to get the chance. Don't even worry about that. Don't even have that on his radar, because fundamentally the way the game is structured this season is not going to allow for that to happen. But suffice to say, he did dominate the game last year from a social and strategic point of view. And he's also a really, really solid person, a really reliable person. So, yeah, I think this is a solid pick on my end.
Okay, I agree.
All right.
I keep going kind of for the obvious. I'm going to go with Monorail Red.
Yeah,
however,
that is pretty obvious.
I am going with Monorail Red for a good reason.
Okay.
I am a huge fan of The Office.
And you want both Jim and Pam.
If Space is Jim and Red is Pam,
yep.
then I am the Michael Scott of WDW.
Oh my god.
I can't tell you, and this, I'm not lying. I am compared to Michael Scott more than any other fictional character in the world. And that sounds like a Michael.
When I've hung out with you, but
I mean, here's the thing.
I haven't hung out with you in a professional environment.
I suppose. I suppose. Yeah, I suppose that would be the case. But
then again, you haven't hung out with me in a professional environment. I directed Personal Spaces in high school. Oh, Personal Spaces. And when I directed that, I literally gave a poor girl a panic attack.
Did you really?
Yeah, and I feel super bad about it to this day. I was really intense.
Well, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was almost a decade ago.
There you go.
I feel old.
But
anyways, my high school reunion's going to be in 2 years. My 10-year high school reunion. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I understand. My high school reunion is in 2021.
Well, it's not in 2019. You still got a couple more years.
Jeez Louise. Anyhow, but I pick Red because I want Jim and Pam on my team. I am the Michael Scott of WDW Magic. I should change my profile picture. Not really, but Alrighty. What's the maximum for our teams, by the way?
What do you mean, the maximum number of people?
For the fantasy draft.
We're gonna do 10, and then the person we pick last.
Sorry,
probably just
cool. Let's do it.
I tell you what. We usually do this when we have an odd number of people. We'll pick 2 teams of 10, and then the person who's picked last, assuming they're not the person who's eliminated first, will just automatically go onto the team of the person who picked the person who's eliminated first.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, the way we're structuring the fantasy draft, we might just want to leave them out, because, folks, instead of doing it like usually we've done the fantasy drafts with just pick the winner, and if you pick the winner, you win the draft. We're gonna do it a little bit more complex this season. We're gonna do it. Essentially, it's gonna be you get 1 point for your draft if you're 21st place, 2 points for your fantasy team if you're 20th place. So on and so forth until finally the winner gets 21 points for their fantasy team. So, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that'll make it a lot more competitive. Of course, my team will probably be decimated by the merge like what usually happens. So I apologize to all these people because I'm cursing them. Anyways. Okay, so my next pick, getting down to it. I think I'm going to go with David2319 here.
Okay.
And I'm going to go on him mostly just based on his application. I feel like his application was really strong, and also he's a very solid, he hasn't been around for that long, but I feel like he's established himself very well in the community. like he's definitely played in a couple games, but more so I think he's definitely active in open brainstorming as well. He's a very well-rounded person. I feel like he's going to be very, he's going to be pretty professional when it comes to these things. I think he's going to be very reliable. I don't think he's going to be one of the persons we have to worry about when it comes to activity. So, and really at the end of the day, that's kind of what I'm basing my fantasy draft around for the most part is, oops. That's not what I wanted to copy and paste.
Tyler, I'll be right back.
Okay. So, no, it's fine. Yeah. So David 2319, like I said, just a very solid person, a very solid member of the community. Hasn't been around that long, but I definitely think he'll shine some light. I definitely think he'll do very well. And let's see while we wait for ManEatingWreath to return. Sorry. So Monorail Red, if you're listening to this, I just kind of want to give a quick shout out to your Western River Expedition project. And by all means, Red, if you finish it and if you post it on the forum, like as soon as you do that, I really want to go through and do a retrospective review of it with Sandy and Jacob, because I really like what Sandy and Jacob and I have been doing with creator games. And so we're going to be busy, right? Like we're going to be busy with everything in between the seasons and in between everything like that. But having said that, I still want to take some time to put more of a focus on Imagineering on this channel than there's been in the past. And one of the things that we're going to do with that is hopefully, assuming I have the time for it and everything, and assuming like the schedule with like all the new Steven Universe and Star vs. Force of Evil and all the TV shows and everything don't kill our schedule, I want to start doing at least once every couple weeks, highlighting an open brainstorming thread or some sort of standalone project like Red's Western River Expedition. Yeah. I'm gonna go over there in a little bit. Okay, sounds like ManEatingWreath is. I hear him in the background, so hopefully he's coming back soon.
I'm back.
You're back. Okay. All right.
Sorry, I had an emergency phone call.
Oh, it's all good.
Anyhow, so you talked about your choice.
And I also kind of promoted, like, I want to go and kind of do some podcasts about standalone threads in the future, like kind of put more Imagineering into this channel. So that's kind of what I was freeballing on while you were gone. So,
okay, no worries.
All right, go ahead, my friend. Team Blue.
All right, Team Blue. I'm gonna go with Trevor. Okay. My former co-host.
I honestly feel like Trevor's the biggest wild card in this whole cast. Out of everyone, he is the wild card.
I agree. Trevor played many seasons ago. We hosted season 12, which was the last season on PF. That season was kind of a hit or miss in terms of, being consistent and all that other stuff. But nonetheless, Trevor's a great guy. Super funny.
He's genuinely the nicest person I have ever met.
Honestly, I agree with you. He's one of those people. We've actually encountered each other in real life, and I had no idea.
Awesome. Yeah, I wish Trevor, if you're listening to this, book a trip to California, man, and I will hang out with you. Like seriously,
I used to work at Disneyland. For those of you who don't know, I was working indie on Thanksgiving, I believe. I don't remember, but he saw me working, and he didn't say hi. Didn't say, "Hey, it's me, Trevor." He messaged me on Facebook that night and said that he walked right by me and said that it looked like I really loved my job and that he's happy that I was working there. I was like, nice. I mean, of course I don't work there anymore, but
just to tell another sappy story about Trevor really quick, just about how nice of a guy he is. So I used to get really hung up about people saying happy birthday to me on my Facebook wall, and I used to get kind of depressed if I didn't get a lot. So I'm not like that anymore. Like, it was kind of one of those phases, you know what I mean? Nowadays I'm kind of like, yeah, if I get like 10 to 12, yeah, it's just the people that care about me, right? But anyways, so Trevor actually, he knew it was really bothering me. So he took the time, and this still amazes me to this day, he took the time to actually have a whole bunch of his friends message post on my wall saying happy birthday.
Did he really?
Yeah. Like, and that literally like gives me chills just thinking about how freaking wonderful that was.
That's a great guy.
Anyway, so Trevor, obviously a great guy. I think he's a wild card in terms of his activity and in terms of and he's always kind of been like that too. He's never been like the biggest powerhouse of a player, but still definitely a good sentimental choice. And you know what, ManEatingWreath? I'm going to echo your sentimental choice. He's another wild card in this cast and pick Snoopy.
I knew it.
Snoopy, oh my god, me and him, wow. Like, me and him almost have a good 10 years on the friendship you and I have in terms of, like, how long we've known each other. Not quite that long, but I would say a good 6 years, because I met him in 2002 on Mouse Info. We were members of CondorFlats.com together. We tried to do a bunch of pro boards together that never got off the ground, but we were, but we really like were trying to get this one movie for him, Under the Sun, which, oh my, it feels weird because at one point Under the Sun was like the biggest thing in my life, right? Like before So You Want to Be an Imagineer. Yeah. So Snoopy, if you're listening to this, UTS, man, UTS. anyways. But Snoopy, rock solid Imagineer, one of my favorite winners we've ever had. Like, he definitely won in a unique way, which was kind of making smaller contributions to projects, but doing them in a really, really solid way and making himself indispensable in that way. So, like, if you had a land, he would do, like, a flat ride, right? But he'd make it a really good flat ride. So, and I also feel like Snoopy's got a really, really good sense of, like, old school kind of Mark Davis style Imagineering, like 60s style Imagineering to him with everything he does. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely I'm excited to see what Snoopy does. I'm a little worried because he hasn't played in a while. I'm not entirely sure how active he's going to be. I know he's got a lot of other real life commitments, but I'm crossing my fingers. Like, he's definitely one of the people I'm really personally rooting for. So,
okay. My pick is Mickey Fan.
Mickey Fan. All right, you know what? That was probably going to be my next pick.
Well, I took Snoopy, so I'm just kidding. No, Mickey Fan was going to be one of my choices. Yeah, Mickey Fan. I don't know if you had a chance, but Mickey Fan posted the Blue Sky project already.
Yeah, he did, and that, you know what? That's actually a really good reason to pick him, because the fact that he posted a Blue Sky project like within not even 24 hours, like within probably like closer to 12 hours since you posted it. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's a big project too.
I got home from school and I was like, holy crap. I was like, commitment, man.
Yeah. You know what? Now that you're saying it that way, I'm kind of kicking myself for not picking Mickey Fan earlier. Because you're right. Oh well. I mean, no, but you're right though. That is that's really, at the end of the day, like, commitment is the number one thing that'll make you do well in this game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I always appreciate people who do as much writing as I do.
And Mickey Fan, I honestly feel like he was season 13's big underdog, where he got super close to the end.
I agree.
He was like really, really solid. I was rooting for him to win. I really was. And having said that, he definitely was one of those players, much like Disney Man 1, who the first couple times he played, he got last place. He was eliminated like right off the bat, you know? So it took him a while to get his footing, but now that he's got his footing, I definitely think you're right. He's a force to be reckoned with, and I'm kind of shocked that it took us this long to pick him. Speaking of people I'm kind of shocked it took us this long to pick, I'm going to go with Magic Feather.
Okay.
Yeah, Magic Feather is, I feel like she's going to be another one of the MVPs of the season. I worked with her in the creator games for one project. Definitely liked what I saw from her there. I also know that she's got something to do with the main site, believe it or not.
With the main site of
WDW Magic?
Really?
She writes like a column or something. Space knows more about it than I do, but Space brought it up to me once.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't know what it is right off the bat, but yeah, so Magic Feather, I definitely think she's one of those people that's going to be really committed to this. And not really a whole ton of lot to say besides that. I don't really know a whole ton about her. Now, I want to say this might be Disney Princess.
I have no idea.
Because do you remember Disney Princess? Not Disney Princess from season 1, but Disney Princess from the Creator Game season 1. She won the Creator Game season 1.
I want to say maybe. I mean, we could always ask her.
Of course. I know Disney Princess came back, and she came back under a new screen name. I'm like 80% sure it's her. I'm not 100% sure it's her, though. So I apologize for the confusion, folks. As you can tell, I am really not all that prepared for this podcast in general. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants. So
no worries. Well, it's a fantasy draft. We can do whatever we want. It's true.
All right. My next pick is King Mickey, followed by PL7764.
That doesn't exist.
I know.
That's not a thing. It's my turn, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I don't know why I didn't pick him earlier. KMBMW777.
This is a guy from South Africa.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. He's been poking up recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, there you go. I'm like, I'm interested to see where he goes.
Yeah, and he definitely, you're right. He's one of those people where he kind of popped up out of nowhere, but once he established himself, he really established himself. And I feel like he's really only been on the boards for about a month or two, but he's already made a big name for himself. I feel like he's already one of the more active people in the community. So yeah, from what I've seen of him so far, I'm definitely impressed. And yeah, good pick, solid pick.
Okay.
Right. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to go off a wild card here. I'm going to go off Natto Tag.
Natto Tag. Oh, this is Blue Dragon's friend, right?
Yes. Natto Tag is... I don't know much about this guy other than like some vague things Blue Dragon 5 told me about him. I know he's very professional. Like, he takes this stuff very seriously. Kind of reminds me of... Honestly, it kind of reminds me of Cole in the way that he describes him. And if you know Cole, that's a really good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or a really bad thing. You never know.
Well, seriously, Cole is the biggest success story we've ever had on the game. So, in spite of him only making it to 9th place in one season, it's kind of crazy. But yeah.
True.
So yeah, Natto Tag. This guy was referred to the game by Blue Dragon 5. At least I never actually got that confirmed by Blue Dragon 5. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So if he's not, then
we're just talking about some random guy.
Right. But honestly, it really seems like he is, just based on like his application. Just really sounds like what Blue Dragon 5 was describing. You know, like really professional, doesn't really know much about armchair Imagineering in general, but, ready to give it a chance. And that's the big question mark, right? The fact that he hasn't competed in one of these things before. You can have all the professionalism in the world, and you could, and you could take it as seriously as you want. But at the end of the day, and I'm saying this probably for all new players, you don't know how much work this is going to be until you really dive into it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In order to really do well in this game and to really stand out, I mean, you can make the merge by floating and doing, doing like one or two things each project. But at the end of the day, it's really going to require a certain level of skill to win the game and a certain level of dedication to win the game. So, but like we said, this is more of a fantasy draft where it's kind of a team effort. So in that way, I definitely think Natto Tag will, I definitely think he'll at least be a valuable asset. And I could see him pulling out some good art as well. I haven't seen his artwork yet, but something just tells me that guy's good with art. So.
Okay. All right. I already have my next pick lined up.
Cool.
And that pick would be I am not a Hufflepuff.
I had a feeling.
And I pick I am not a Hufflepuff because I am a Hufflepuff. You got a problem with me? I'm not a Hufflepuff?
Ooh,
huh?
Ooh.
Do you? I'm just kidding.
You hear that, Matt?
Is that his name?
No. That's a reference to the Soul Imagineer season 2.
Got
that
it.
was kind of a meme I started.
Got it.
You hear that, Matt? It's referring to someone completely different.
Well, I pick I'm not a Hufflepuff. I've seen his presence around quite a bit, and I feel like he's going to be another great addition to the game. I think he played last season.
He did.
I feel pretty, like I said, like, folks, we're not like, when we pick their fantasy draft, we're not trying to like pick favorites or
No, absolutely
anything
not.
like that. We're the two of us are overwhelmed with how big of a turnout this was. We were expecting having to like beg people to play. not even lying.
Yeah, we're not joking about that.
And we just have this huge turnout. Everyone is talented. Everyone is qualified. I'm thrilled, and I'm not a Hufflepuff is one of those people that I'm just thrilled is playing.
Yeah, he's been around the boards for about a year, and I definitely think he's one of the most prolific people of the 2016 year on WDW Magic. He's really, I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but he's really making a name for himself. He's really made a name for himself. And he's also one of those guys that just everyone really gets along with.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled some really shady stuff in the Soul Imagineer, but he's like the one person that went away from the Soul Imagineer without anyone kind of, like, let's just say he kind of got out of it unscathed, even though he did pull some shady stuff. So, so that's good. It's like he can do the strategic thing, and again, he's not going to do strategy this season, but he can do the strategy thing and still be well liked, which is, like I said, that's a good kind of social skill to have for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like he's around the boards a lot, so I don't think it's going to be a matter of like inactivity. I definitely think he's going to be really dedicated for sure. So all right, now this is where it gets tough. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Poe Dameron.
I literally was just thinking that in my brain right now.
Yeah, Poe Dameron. This guy hasn't really played in many competitions. He was in the creator games. He was doing really well in the creator games. I believe he played in last season, but he had to drop out. I'm pretty sure that was, I'm like 90% sure that was the case. So Poe Dameron, I don't know really much about the guy, and he's not one of the most prolific members of the forum, but he is kind of a rising person in the forum. He's definitely taken an active interest in the community. I'm glad to see he's stuck around the boards. I'm glad to see he's I'm sorry.
He's here.
Yeah. Because he's one of those people where he can kind of go in and out, like, but it might be one of those cases where he was just busy last season and he could.
Yeah.
And so I have a feeling like if nothing comes out up in his schedule, I have a feeling that he could be a really valuable asset. So. Okay, so we have 2 more people left to pick from the teams. And I must say at this point, folks, literally all 5 people left are probably only here because their applications were short and we really don't know that much about them. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I would agree. But my next pick is that guy from Florida.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough.
I invited him to play because, you're putting Poe on my team.
Oh, sorry.
Anyhow, I pick that guy from Florida because I actually approached him to play this season. So,
okay.
And I initially had when he signed up, before we expanded the cast to 21, when he signed up, I was like, "Hey, bud, you're an alternate," and I want to pick him now because he's not an alternate.
Nope.
And I'm excited to see what he comes up with. The thing about this season, we do have a lot of wild card contestants.
That's true. You're right. You're very right about that.
It's going to be interesting, to say the least. Like I'm thrilled by the amount of people, and I'm thrilled to see what comes of it.
And all these people look really promising, but you're right. There's definitely certain people where they could be really good, but if the level of dedication required overwhelms them, they could kind of drop off. And honestly, a couple people I'm worried about kind of showing up at all. But I shouldn't say that, but it's just kind of like they signed up early and you know what I mean? It's like just sometimes we'll get those people who sign up but then never actually play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm worried we might have one or two of these people in this group of the next 5. But I don't think that guy from Florida is going to be that person, though. I think that guy from Florida, I honestly think he might, I think he has the potential to be eliminated before the merge, just because he's not all that experienced. But I don't think it'll be because he just drops off the face of the earth. I definitely think he's gonna try. I definitely think he's gonna give it his all. And like I said, I hope all these people do as well as they possibly can. I'm just kind of making some predictions and commentary and whatnot. So
I'm optimistic for every contestant, is what I should say. So, I mean, again, people won't show up. People will show up, and so on and so forth. I'm just optimistic that it's going to be a great, great time.
It's the nature of the beast.
Exactly.
All right.
My turn again, or yours?
No, it's my turn.
Oh, geez, I totally zoned out.
So these next 4 people, the last 4 people we have, like I said, they're all kind of new people, and I don't really know that much about them. But I'm going to go with the one that I've seen on the boards the most, which is Angels and Disneys. And the sole reason I'm picking them is because I have seen them on the boards the most out of these 4. Okay. So that's just me kind of being being strategic about the pick. I don't know much about Angels and Disneys, but I do know he's been around for a while. And again, short application, but I don't really want to fault the short application. It's just kind of the applications are always kind of our way to gauge the activity, and sometimes it's super off base. You know what I mean? It's sometimes someone will have a really short application, but then end up being a powerhouse of a contestant. So you never know. You never know.
Okay. My last pick. Jeez. My last pick. I'm gonna go with Brer Oswald.
Brer Oswald? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Mostly because the Brer characters, I enjoy them. Also, I'm interested. He's the same case as that guy from Florida, is another contestant that I just want to see really just active and surprise us.
Sure. And like we said, folks, like we keep stressing, it's not that we're worried for these people. It's just that we haven't really seen them in action as much as most of the other people. So there's no real way to gauge either way.
Exactly.
So, okay, Dragon.
Well, actually, Tiki.
Oh, God.
Anyways.
Go on.
The thing about Toy Story.
Oh, God.
Only for you guys. Anyhow.
Okay, so it's between Cranium Command 89 and Stephen Yu. So it's basically between both of these people. It's between the last person to sign up and one of the first people to sign up. And honestly, I'm worried about Cranium Command. Just because he signed up really early, and it could be a case of and he signed up when the game was still going to start in freaking March. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So,
well, we'll see what happens.
So it's one of those things where he could have just completely forgot it, or he could just be blindsided by the fact that we moved the date up and everything like that. I'm worried about that. I'm genuinely worried about that.
I think it'll. I don't. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. And I have similar concerns, of course, but I don't know. It'll be interesting if he uses his brain.
But for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and pick Stephen Yu.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of a bias because I love Stephen Yu as much like he does. Yeah.
Called it. Called it.
And also, he just showed up. He just applied. So who knows? It could mean that he's really interested. It could mean he falls off the face of the earth as soon as the game starts. And like we said, that's not like a commentary on the people in general. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just like having hosted 13 of these things. That's usually what happens with a few of these newer people. But genuinely, I hope Steven Yu amazes me, especially because I'm always down for another Steven Universe fan on these boards. That's great. That's great.
And so does this mean I inherit Cranium Command?
No, it means that whoever has the last place finisher inherits Cranium Command.
That's right. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was actually going to pick Cranium Command after Brer Oswald.
Okay.
So we'll see if I have the last place finisher on my team. But I feel pretty solid, Steven. I feel pretty solid about this, actually. It's a fantasy draft again, folks. It's not the actual team format. Yeah, I feel confident about the entire cast, your team as well. And I'm really hyped for Saturday.
Oh, I am too. I'm
like, this is literally, it's making the week go by horribly slow. Horribly, unbearably slow. But I look forward to having this season with all of you guys. I'm grateful you've all signed up. I'm overwhelmed with emotion. And I feel great. Honestly. Like, I don't even know. How do you feel?
It's almost kind of surreal, right? It's like,
I agree. Like, this is like, I feel like I've stepped into a time machine and have gone back in time to Vision's Fantastic. That's how I feel right now. It's a surreal feeling, and I can't thank you guys.
It's gonna feel even more like that because we're gonna have all the public brainstorm.
No, I know. I am stunned and thrilled and emotional and overjoyed and geeking out beyond belief.
And it just goes to show, folks, if you have something that works, never give up on it.
Exactly. It may take trials and tribulations and a lot of hard work. If it works in the long run, it'll work in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Also, really quick, folks, we did say that we were going to do reviews of the Critter Country Darkrai projects. Unfortunately, we don't have time to do that. So I'm going to So I'm going to go ahead and post my scores sometime this afternoon. I'm busy, man. I have to do notes for Gotham before tonight. I have to get all the Mandela effect stuff together for Sandy. I'm a busy guy. So to tell you the truth, folks, my scores, like, if they don't come this afternoon, oh God, but I'm going to be working at the museum tomorrow. So I'll get them up as soon as humanly possible, folks.
They'll be out before we have to decide who wins the prizes.
Well, no, I'm going to go a step further and say it'll be out before. Let's see. Is the Blue Sky Project due Monday at midnight?
No,
Wednesday
it's due
at midnight, I mean.
Yeah, it's due tomorrow.
Yeah, Wednesday at midnight. Of course, it's not due Monday at midnight because that'd be time travel. Yeah, so I'm going to try my absolute hardest to get the feedback in just before they're due.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try. So
okay.
All right. But yeah, at the very latest, I mean, obviously we'll have everything calculated. Also, ManEatingWreath, I kind of like, if you guys like really want to know who's in the lead and who's like, you know, like the scores and everything, you can go ahead and track that on your own. But I think it'd be more exciting and more fair to just kind of reveal it all at the end, just so there's not like a big pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Because let's say someone has like 80 points, and then, you know, it's like, because I don't want people to be dissuaded from turning in projects because it's like, oh, there's no way I can catch up to that guy.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So like I said, if you want to do the math and figure it out for yourself, by all means, you're totally welcome to. Mm-hmm. I'd encourage you not to post it on the forums, though, and not to post it on the discussion thread or anything. Just, like I said, just in the name of encouraging as many people to do them as we can. Exactly. And I'm also really happy about the turnout for Festival of Imagination.
Me too. I again, it's just a sign we're going to have the best season ever.
Yep. And Festival of Imagination was one of those things I thought we were going to struggle to have people participate in.
I know. Everything has proved us false. So prove us right and make the season the best season ever.
The season is going to be the equivalent to the day that you and me and Monkey hung out in the park for the first time. It was just literally the best day of my life.
Exactly.
Everything went right.
Alrighty. Well, before we tune out, I have a gift for you, Tiki.
Oh dear.
As you can see, my camera has been turned on.
Okay. Oh no.
This is more of a gift for Blue Dragon 5 if he's watching.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh god.
Get ready for it.
We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain.
Oh no.
We jumped, never asking why. We kissed, I fell under your spell.
A love no one can deny. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always love you.
I can't live a lie.
Oh, God.
Me walking into the season like. Anyhow, I'm gonna turn it off because it gets kind of gross after that.
Okay, and congratulations. You might have just officially made ManEatingWreath. You might have officially just made Blue Dragon 5 hate you for life. I hope you're happy.
I am.
Okay.
I'm relieved. Alrighty, guys.
All right, guys. So, yeah, I am stoked about the season. I can't be more happy about it. I'm sorry if we went through this relatively fast and if we didn't talk about people as in-depth as we wanted to. Like we said, we kind of combined the fantasy draft with the, with the cast assessment. Usually we do a cast assessment followed by a fantasy draft, so we kind of combine the two because we don't really have a lot of time. We were only working with about an hour's worth of time. So I hope everyone's satisfied with that. I see I have 15. I don't know how many notifications you have, but I have 15 notifications on WDW Magic. And I hope to God it's not just people yelling at us like, no, this person played in this season, not that season. You're wrong.
We'll find out in due time.
We will. We will. So,
Alrighty.
all right, folks, can't wait for Saturday. I'm genuinely humbled and stoked and excited.
Me too.
And,
I agree. Again, a million thank yous. You'll never know how much this means to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, folks, may the best mind win. Yeah.
And the best fantasy draft team win.
Oh, God. You're going down. You're going down.
The competition is on.
Okay. See you later.
All right.